In Boston, motivation was unnecessary as the curtain lifted on the American League Championship Series between the Red Sox and the Oakland A's. And the A's, as they had all year, would be counting on Jose's worthy bat.
This is the worth bat, quality bat. This is what I use.
Oh, you're just getting paid to say that.
Great wood, and plus I'm getting paid to say this, like Mark said. Great wood, great quality. It already comes from the factory, fully corked. It's an automatic 40 home runs. There's a cork right there. There's the worth label. Everyone should use this bat. There's the cork. There's the cork. There's the cork, and there's some cork right there. And most of the cork is in there.
And as the scoreless first game moved into the fourth, with Boston's Bruce Hurst on the mound, Canseco showed just what his bat was worth.
3-2. Swing and a deep drive to left center field. Hit way, 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 way back. Tell it goodbye. It looked like he threw him a breaking ball, a fork ball or something down, and Canseco nails it into the screen.
Jose gave Oakland a 1-0 lead, and Stewart had the Red Sox reaching for answers. Dave proved most effective with runners on base, especially against Wade Boggs. Stewart left the game in the 7th, and Boston tied it at 1. But in the 8th, after Lansford doubled, Henderson brought him home with a sharp single to right. The A's now led 2-1, and La Russa knew just who to turn to. Eckersley breezed through the 8th, but in the 9th, Boston put 2 men on base and brought baseball's best hitter to the plate.
Here it is. He struck him out, and the A's win the ball game to take the lead in the series. The Red Sox got the man they wanted up there, and Eckersley got his man. Holy Toledo, what a finish.
Boggs had stranded 7 runners in the game as the Athletics refused to knuckle under. But Roger Clemens took the mound in Game 2, an encouraging sign for Boston fans, especially with a 2-run lead. But in the 7th, with 1 man on, Canseco once again passed the screen test.
Swing and a high, deep drive to left field. That one is way, 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 way back, and I told you we'd be tied as Canseco hits one into the screen, and it's tied up at 2-2.
Canseco had hit his 2nd homer in as many postseason games. Now the Boston burden shifted to Big Lee Smith, who held his own until the 9th, when singles by Ron Hasse and Tony Phillips set the stage for light-hitting Walt Weiss. Weiss's bloop single into center gave Oakland a come-from-behind 4-3 lead. Then in the bottom of the 9th, Eckersley reappeared and got him. 1-2-3.
Swung on, high drive, left field, room for Phillips. He has it, and the A's are up. They have swept the Red Sox the first 2 at Fenway Park, as Gedman's bid to go to left field is an out to Phillips.
So we're down to the last out for the Yankees. Dent, the tying run at second. Tiebreaker blares at first. Reggie Jackson is the batter.
You couldn't ask for a more dramatic moment for a young pitcher to walk into right here.
Strike 1. Wow. This crowd will tell you what's happening. Listen to them. 1 ball, 1 strike. They've been sending that low bridge all night to Reggie Jackson.
He really gets out of the way late, doesn't he? He doesn't get down, and that ball's almost by him. Look at this. He starts after it. Wonder why he gets hurt. Reggie has been hit in the head at least a couple of times that I know of.
Fouls it back. The fastball is 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fouled it back. What a battle.
Well, I'm telling you, my palms are sweating up here in the booth.
Out of play.
And you know the guy to play it, a guy who just has a knack for knowing the greatness of a moment, Reggie Jackson.
Ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jackson.
Tying run at second. Potential lead run at first.
And you're getting it all here. The kid against the veteran. The fastballer against the fastball hitter. Foul back. Jackson continues to battle Welch. Welch continues to battle Jackson. High, ball 3. We're down to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and they pick up the percentage now. Paul Blair will be off as soon as Welch starts at the plate. Quite possible he could score on that long single. Percentage to go to 3-2, and it swings to the Yankees, and Jackson makes the kid wait. Dent at second. Blair at first. 2 outs. There they go. Struck him out. Ball game is over. Bob Welch, a tremendous pitching performance. Listen to the crowd.
Boddicker is 1 away from the playoff strikeout record of 14, shared by Joe Coleman and John Candelaria.
Ow.
He hits Luzinski. It's the second man he's hit in this game. He hit Paciorek back in the second. Paciorek hits it softly, but it could be trouble. Shelby coming in. It drops in front of him. They make a throw to second, but Luzinski is in there. So on a hit batter and a bloop single, the White Sox have the first 2 men on against Boddicker in the 9th. A slow roller. Cruz comes in. Quick throw. Got him.
For the White Sox, batting for Aurelio Rodriguez, number 25.
Mike Spanky Squires. We checked, and unfortunately, the White Sox have no one nicknamed Alfalfa or Buckwheat, but this is Spanky Squires. Little squibber, which Boddicker fields and throws him out. So, although the Oriole infield obviously was playing back, willing to concede the run, on that ball, nobody was going anywhere, so the shutout remains intact. And Hairston is the only guy who stands between Boddicker and a complete game blanking. He's thrown a lot of pitches, 130 by our unofficial count. Ball 1. Lisa Boddicker. Strike 1 and 1. Julio Cruz is on deck, and if he gets to bat, it'll be the tying run. He's 1 strike away from the shutout and the record-tying strikeout. 3-2 pitch. He walked him, and they're loaded. Julio Cruz now, he hit only 3 home runs during the season, and what little power he has is almost exclusively from the right side of the plate. Strike 1. Due to the fact that the ball game has run a bit late, the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson will not be seen tonight.
He's got the situation set up now, doesn't he? Tying run at the plate in Cruz, but he's way ahead 0-2, and he's not going to take it downtown.
1 pitch for the record. There it is. Tied it. Boddicker closes it out in fitting fashion. It was a struggle in the 8th and the 9th. He left the bases loaded here in the final inning, but he fans 14, goes the distance with the shutout, and he's in the record book, along with Coleman and Candelaria. Back to Baltimore in a minute.
Has emerged as the force. The power man in the first 2 games in Fenway Park, Boston. And he has his teammates geared up for an early celebration. For the Red Sox, disappointment and dismay has been the theme in Fenway. And for Boston's rookie manager Joe Morgan and his Red Sox, it seems as though respect is hard to find. Tonight, the Red Sox must turn things around as the burden weighs heavily on the right arm of Mike Boddicker. They take on the A's and Bob Welch as the action shifts out west to Oakland for Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. Live from the Coliseum in Oakland, California, it's Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. It's the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland A's. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. The Red Sox have come to the West after losing 2 games in Fenway Park and looking to somehow win a game here in the Coliseum. They lost all 6 of the games this season, and they've lost 14 of the last 15. They're in a genuine slump. That slump began about 10 days ago against Toronto. And if it does not end, if they don't bust out of it, this season is going to end in the next 2 games. Working with me is Joe Morgan. I got the feeling, Joe, that the A's had the broom out. They're ready to sweep.
Well, Gary, in the first 2 ball games, the Oakland A's won with great pitching, clutch hitting, and the home run power of Jose Canseco. I think you will see them use their speed more here in Oakland, and also they'll get more run production from some of the other players in the lineup. The Oakland A's are on the road to greatness, and I don't think the Boston Red Sox can stop them.
Reggie Jackson, I would say that this is a time of desperation for Boston. If they want to win this American League Championship Series, they must win today.
You're right, Gary. They've got to win this ball game today, but I'm not so sure that the Oakland A's are going to sweep this ball club. They're a veteran ball club, and they're a ball club that is very capable of scoring. It was very cold back in Boston. The weather was miserable. It was not conducive to good offensive play. Out of here, it's nice and warm. These fellas led the league with 813 runs scored. They led the league hitting .283. We have not seen the real Wade Boggs. We haven't seen the real Mike Greenwell. They've got an outstanding pitcher pitching today, Mike Boddicker. Off-speed stuff, not the fastballs they've been seeing in the early games. I think he's going to keep that ball club, the Oakland A's, off balance. I look for a better game out of the Red Sox today. They played good baseball. They've only made 1 error, but they have not gotten the base hits.
Reggie, you mentioned Boddicker. He'll be going for the Red Sox. And then Bob Welch has been outstanding in the Coliseum. 13-4 this year, will be going for Tony La Russa's club. By the way, if you watched the game earlier today between the Mets and the Dodgers, you probably know about the incident involving Jay Howell. We hope to have and will have a statement later from National League President Bartlett Giamatti. As soon as that becomes available, you will hear it right here. So game number 3, the American League Championship Series. The site, the Oakland Coliseum. The Boston Red Sox. They've lost the first 2. They haven't won here all year long. They've got their work cut out for them. Back with Jose Canseco in a moment. Sellout crowd, 48,000 plus for game number 3 of the American League Championship Series. Jose Canseco was the first man in baseball history to become a 40-40 man. He's already hit 2 home runs in this American League Championship Series. He is something special. Let's take a closer look at this 24-year-old superstar.
It's not a man that I've played with or against in my 16 years, which I began my 16th year July 11th, that hits the ball as hard and as far as Jose, with the consistency of Jose.
Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was going to be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man.
The name of the game is score runs, knock in runs, hit home runs. And I think what the fans came out to see is not the average everyday old base hit, but the 500-foot home run.
Jose's mammoth home runs have been thrilling fans both in Oakland and in every ballpark he visits. After winning Rookie of the Year honors in 1986 and hitting 30-plus home runs 2 years in a row, Jose boasted to the world that this year he would be the first 40-40 man in the history of baseball. And he did come through. The man whose style he resembles most wore number 25, Bobby Bonds of the San Francisco Giants. A 30-30 man, a record-setting 5 times. Bobby analyzes Jose's outstanding accomplishments.
When you look at a complete ball player, like on Jose Canseco, with the year that he's having this year, you know, you look at the 40-40, which is the major accomplishment for an individual, if you're looking at one individual. But with the size that he is and still in the bases that I stole throughout my career, in the long run, it's going to take a toll on him. The pounding, when you're dropping a 6'4", 200-some pounds constantly to the ground over the years, it's going to take its toll.
I think Bobby Bonds is correct about that. I mean, you do take a lot of pounding. It's not the fact that you steal the 40 bases. It's the fact that within stealing 40 bases, you have to have at least 50 or 55 attempts. So all that pounding, it really hurts, especially a guy who weighs 230 pounds.
Another Bay Area slugger who hit the long ball was Willie McCovey. Stretch played with Bobby Bonds and draws the comparison.
Bobby Bonds was more of a stolen base threat, and I think the pitchers was more aware of Bobby at first base than they are of Canseco. I think Canseco might have sneaked up on 40 stolen bases this year. And next year will be a good test as to whether he is really a true stolen base artist or not.
Man, I'm a full-grown man.
Canseco with an Oakland A's record of 124 RBIs to go with that major league leading 42 home runs. It's going to be Mike Boddicker, who was acquired for the Baltimore Orioles, a right-hander. 13-50 for the year against Bob Welch. That's a career high in victories, 17. We'll be back with the national anthem as we approach the first pitch of Game 3. And now for the singing of our national anthem. Everyone rises at the Oakland Coliseum.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem as performed by world-renowned opera star Placido Domingo.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed of the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say those that star-spangled banner yet wave, are they land of the free, of the heart of the brave.
The singing of the national anthem. The stage is all set. Game 3 just about ready. We'll return to the Oakland Coliseum after this word from our local station.
Enjoy baseball memories throughout the years by ordering your copy of the 1988 World Series souvenir program. Packed with more than 90 pages of features, facts, and photos on the Fall Classic, this program is truly a collector's item. Get your souvenir program by sending a $6 check or money order to World Series Program, Box 88, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. That's Box 88, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. Be sure to include your proper return address.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
The shadows start to lengthen now over the playing field at Oakland Coliseum as Game 3 just about ready to go. The Red Sox coming west, hoping to get on the winning side as they've lost the first two in Fenway Park in Boston. This is a desperate time for this Boston Red Sox club to kind of catch a flavor and more or less the personality of the Red Sox coming into this critical game. Joe Morgan talked with Joe Morgan.
I think the morale is terrific, and the last time we were here, Joe, I said we would return, and that would be much tougher, so today's the day to do it, baby.
Today is the day to do it, baby. That's what he said. Reggie?
Well, the nice thing that Joe Morgan said is something that I think is very, very important today. This ball club realizes it's down, Gary. That's very, very obvious. They know they have not scored runs. But he says that mentally they're prepared. And I visited with several of the players before the game, also talked to their hitting coach, Walt Veriniak. He says that they understand there's a sense of urgency, but he feels it's a controlled urgency, and they'll be able to put it into some positive thinking. Here's a ball club that when they score, when they get 10 hits in a ball game, their record is 59-16. They need to score early in order to relieve the tension on the ball club and get rid of some of that pressure. I think they're capable of doing it.
Joe, what are you focusing on?
Well, Gary, in Game 2, we talked about the guys that could handle Roger Clemens' fastball, Dave Parker, Dave Henderson, and Jose Canseco. They did their jobs, and the Oakland A's won. Here in Game 3, we have to have guys that get the off-speed pitches and the breaking balls of Mike Boddicker. And those guys are Carney Lansford, Mark McGuire, and I look for Ron Hassey. These are the guys who will be at the spearhead the Oakland attack tonight.
Two future Hall of Famers, their last look at this game as we're just about ready to go. Game number 3, the American League Championship Series. The setting, it's a grand setting. The Red Sox and A's. The Red Sox, they've got to win, trailing by 2. One of the outstanding players ever to come into this game of baseball through the opening pitch. And the man is none other than Joe DiMaggio. And there he is, the Yankee Clipper. That record of a hit in 56 consecutive games, I guess that is the record, Joe Morgan, will never be broken.
The 56 must have been unbelievable.
All right, let's take a look now at the starting lineups in this ball game. A change. Ellis Burks moves into the leadoff spot in center field. Marty Barrett still batting second, and Boggs, who had been leading off, now batting in the third spot. Mike Greenwell in left field. Jim Rice in the fifth position, the DH. Dwight Evans drops down from his third spot. He'll be playing right field. Rich Gedman, who had a home run in the last ball game, is catching. Jody Reed is the shortstop, and Todd Benzinger all the way down to the ninth spot playing first base.
And the defense for the Oakland A's will have Mark McGuire at first base. Mike Gallego is the second baseman. Walter Weiss is the shortstop. Carney Lansford is at third base. Stan Javier gets a start in left field. Dave Henderson will be the center fielder. Jose Canseco will be in right. Ron Hassey will do the catching. And on the mound, right-hander Bob Welch.
Welch, 17-9. That's a career high in wins. The former Dodger. Paul Molitor, the Milwaukee Brewers, with the inside pitch on the right-hander who really has helped this Oakland ball club.
Bobby Welch has had an outstanding season here at his home park in Oakland, and one reason he's such an aggressive pitcher on the mound. Now, he has a couple different fastballs to show the hitters. The right-hander, he likes to run that fastball in on their fist, as well as show them that cutting fastball away. To the left-handed hitters, he likes to basically stay with that sinking fastball and get as many ground balls as he can. You add that to his tremendous curveball, and it can be a long day for the opposing hitter.
Well, Tony La Russa saved this guy for Game 3 because he's been so effective in the Coliseum. 13-4 this year with a 2.56 ERA. The umpires, Tim McClellan, will be behind the plate. Greg Kosk at first. Second base, Ken Kaiser. John Shulock at third. Don Denkinger, the crew chief, and then Tim Hendry in the right field line. And here's the guy who's now leading off, Ellis Burks. Now,
This is not an unfamiliar spot for Burks. During the season, he hit .333 from the leadoff position. Burks will be followed by Barrett and then Wade Boggs. First ball hitting, he fouls it back. Now, one of the things that has to happen for Boston, they've got to get somebody rolling early. They are 1 for 15 in their first 2 positions in the batting order.
Well, I think the reason they've moved Burks to the top of the order is not necessarily to steal bases, but so that the manager, Joe Morgan, can manage more aggressively. If he has someone on base who can run, he may be able to hit and run with Marty Barrett. He may be able to hit and run with Wade Boggs.
So Burks facing Bob Welch with a 1 strike, and that'll go up the middle for a base hit. So the change by Joe Morgan instantly pays a dividend as Burks is on to the leadoff single and Marty Barrett is up.
No surprise to me that he hit that ball well. He hit the ball well 3 times over in Boston and was robbed a couple of times on the ball by Dave Henderson in center field. Here's a pitch from Welch in slow motion. He lines this pitch right back up the middle, getting the Red Sox off to that early start that's needed. Get on base, you get some things going, it can change the attitude in the dugout.
Kind of a catalyst. Right now, Barrett, who is 0 for 8, will come up. Burks down at first base has 25 stolen bases. He was caught 9 times this year. Barrett is interesting. 2 years ago in '86, he was the most valuable player of the American League Championship Series, but certainly not off and moving in this particular series. Oh, strike to Marty Barrett.
I think a lot is made out of the fact that Boston has not hit well the first 2 ball games. Of course, they haven't hit the last couple of weeks of the season, but you got to forget about that kind of thing and remember that today is today. The nice thing about baseball is you can get to erase your mistakes and get to erase a bad day because you play the next day. You have another at bat.
Or if it continues, it just amplifies a little more. Now Barrett is behind 2 strikes.
Gary, I think one thing we should mention here is that the sun is bright in center field and the stadium is covering the infield and making it darker on the infield, which makes it very tough for a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, which is what Bob Welch is throwing, to be able to be pulled by the Boston Red Sox.
Not only that, Joe, but anything hit to center and right's got to be very tough right now in the air.
You take a look at the right fielder. Canseco is standing out there shading his eyes with his glove. He's standing right in the sunlight.
Bob Welch, an intense competitor. He likes to have Ron Hasse as his catcher, as that ball is going to be fouled back and out of play. He feels that Hasse settles him down. They say that Welch is so hyper, especially early in a ball game, needs the steadiness of number 24 behind the plate.
Some of his problems in the past have come because he tried to work too quickly.
Looks like it's been a very successful combination, 14-3. Says he spends a lot of time with Welch prior to the game, just talking over every batter, talking about how he feels. Foul back. Still 2 strikes on Marty Barrett. Good move that time as McGuire slapped the tag on him. Burks had some ankle surgery earlier in the year. Look at this move again.
One step and a dive, that's the best way to go back into the bag.
Barrett, left field, the ball curving foul, headed back towards the stands, and it will be in there as he continues to battle. That is the 5th straight foul ball that Barrett has hit off of Bob Welch. That's off the 5th and 6th straight foul ball. Still 0-2 on Barrett. Called 3rd strike. No, wait a minute. Balk. They called a balk. And so going down to 2nd is Burks.
We'll get another look at it here. This is regular speed.
All right, Joe, you tell me where the discernible stop is or isn't on that.
Well, it's the umpire's judgment.
La Russa now has the Red Sox in scoring position as we are in the top of the 1st, and Barrett hits it to right field. Canseco plays it on the first touch. They hold up Burks as Canseco with a rifle arm brings it back in.
Ellis Burks, I don't know if he was going to try the arm of Jose Canseco, test the arm of Jose Canseco, but it looked like he was under a full head of steam, Joe, and he was thinking about going home. No, he had the red light, and he just fell trying to get back.
Rack Slider, the third base coach, holding him up. You got to be very careful in this series with both Evans and Canseco in right field.
They both throw exceptionally well, and again, that ball hit the right field. Marty Barrett staying tough, trying to project some intensity and get something going for the Red Sox.
And here is Wade Boggs.
And this is the first opportunity Wade Boggs has had to drive in a run since he left all the runs in game one, all the runners on base in game one.
Runners at the corner, nobody down, pitch inside to Boggs. We mentioned he singled his first at bat and then 0 for the next 6 with 3 strikeouts.
I think you could talk about that all day long, but I'm not going to get on it too much. I'm not going to bet against a guy that hit 366 too much, fellas.
Boggs, left field, drops in for a base hit, and Burks comes in with the first run of the ball game. Going down to second is Barrett.
When you can hit, you can hit.
I think what we're seeing here is a Bob Welch trying to overpower the Boston Red Sox, and I don't think he'll be able to do that. That's a pretty good pitch, though. He got it on the inside corner where he wanted it. The pitch to Burks was in the middle of the plate that he singled to center field, and the pitch to Marty Barrett was out over the plate. That was a good fastball on the inside corner. That was just a good piece of hitting by Wade Boggs.
So Welch, who committed his 13th balk of the season, now has given up 3 straight base hits, an RBI single by Wade Boggs.
I think the balk was more important than we realized because it was actually strike 3 to Marty Barrett. And there you see Bob Welch leads active players in balks. And the reason is because he rushes himself. He likes to get the ball and throw it quickly.
So La Russa's team coming home where they handed the Red Sox 6 losses now find themselves down 1-0. Barrett at second, and the batter, Mike Greenwell, swinging through the first pitch for strike 1.
And that'll be the spot that Bob Welch will try to throw the fastball to Mike Greenwell. Under his hands and on the inside part of the plate. You want it up and in.
That's high, and the count goes to 1-2. Welch is 6'3", a 193-pounder. Coming over in that 3-way trade between the Dodgers and Mets. Jay Howell, who is involved in that brouhaha today, along with Alfredo Griffin going to the Dodgers. Inside, he fired that one hard, 2-2.
In this situation, you know as well as I do, Joe, that the Red Sox know they need to score runs. They know they need to turn the momentum around. They've got an outstanding pitcher on the mound who's had a great year here in Oakland. They know they've got to put him away now or score some runs off him early.
You cannot give a good pitcher many opportunities to get off the hook.
Full count now on Greenwell. We mentioned the brouhaha. If you joined us late or did not see the Mets-Dodgers game today, Jay Howell was ejected from the game when they found some pine tar on his glove, and we're right now seeking some kind of a ruling, a further ruling from Bart Giamatti, the National League president. 3-2 now on Greenwell. Runners at first and second, a run is in. Foul ball back into the stands.
To be honest with you, Reg, I don't see any difference in the way that Joe Morgan is managing here in the first inning. I see differences, obviously, in the way the Red Sox are swinging the bat. But he did not hit and run. He did not use the speed of Alex Burks in the first couple of batters. Now he has an opportunity with runners at first and second and one of the league's leading hitters up there, and he's not putting them in motion.
3-2 again. Left center field. Hustling over Javier. He stumbles. The ball gets by him. It goes to the wall. Barrett rounds third. He'll come in and score. And on his heels is Boggs. And 2 more runs to score.
He is projecting confidence in this ball club. As he had said before the game, he thinks the club is mentally prepared to swing the bats, Joe. And they're certainly showing that now. Here's a man that drove in 119 runs. We take a look at Stan Javier there. Here's the pitch to Mike Greenwell. He lanes it in the left center field. That's where he's been producing all year. He hit 22 home runs. That's not 30. That's not 40. He's got a line drive. He's got to hit line drives in the alley. That way, this club can be productive.
So Greenwell's first hit of the series drives in a pair of runs. It's 3-0 now,
Number
and
14,
still nobody
Jim
out.
Rice, designated hitter.
See Barrett rounding the base, knows he's going to score, took a look in the outfield, made sure the ball hit the ground, and he was off to the races.
Barrett scoring. Fox is on his heels, running hard to score the third run of the inning. Still nobody out. Rice at the plate. Rice 2 for 6 in the series with 1 strikeout and 1 base on ball.
And there you see one of the very few curveballs that Bob Welch has thrown here in the first inning.
Biggest inning of this series thus far for the Boston Red Sox. 3 runs are in. Rice grounds it. Weiss plays the hop beautifully. That's a tough play by Walt Weiss, as advancing to third is Greenwell.
Walt Weiss charges this ball right away. He does not hesitate. If he would have hesitated, he would not have been able to get it on the short hop. When you're fielding a ground ball, you try to get it on the big hop or the short hop. The short hop being when it first comes off the ground, and the big hop, of course, being when it's at its highest peak.
So the man that many people feel will be the American League Rookie of the Year gets the first out of the inning. Dwight Evans comes up. Evans 1 for 7 in the series.
And the A's are confused here right now. Walt Weiss is playing back, and everyone else is playing halfway. Now he comes running in. They're not playing all the way in on the infield. They're playing halfway.
Greenwell down at third.
You see him sneak right in there, Joe.
Now they run in on that particular pitch. Some teams have 3 defensive sets. You start back, run in, you start in and move back, or you just stay in one position. That tries to confuse the third base coach.
1-1 on Dwight Evans inside, and it's 2-1.
He's continuing to show that he's unsettled. He's all over the strike zone. Here's a team that led the American League in walks and runs scored, and that's how they've done it, by being patient, staying off the ball. You get behind in the count, now all of a sudden you can zero this guy in and put the bat on the ball hard.
2-1 on Dwight Evans, misses outside, and now 3 balls to strike on Evans. 3-2 to Evans, and he walked him. So Evans is down at first. By the way, Dwight Evans, at the end of the regular season, was 0 for 12 and 1 for 7 in the American League Championship Series. So when you're struggling, you like to get a base on balls once in a while. He's down at first, Greenwell at third, and Rich Gedman comes to the plate. Gedman, of course, with a home run in Game 2. Gene Nelson, who pitched very effectively in Game 2, warming up for the Oakland A's.
Bob Welch throws the high fastball, so if he does not strike the hitter out, he's usually going to get a fly ball into the outfield. He is not a ground ball pitcher.
Still throwing hard, but still getting behind, and it's 2-0 now on Gedman. This is 35th pitch of the inning, and it's 3-0.
He's not following through very well. He should be bending over much more with a better follow-through, reaching down.
I think a lot of pitching coaches may say, well, he's not bending his back, he's not following through, as you're saying. I believe he's just overthrowing, Reg. He's trying to overpower the Red Sox, and I don't think he's capable right now.
He walks him full. Gedman goes down to first. Evans trots over to second. Greenwell's at third, and the 8th man in the order, Jody Reed, will come up. Reed 1 for 4 thus far in the series. The thing you probably have to realize is that if Welch would get out of here without further damage, he may really be tough from here on. Get out of that first inning.
Well, as I mentioned, a lot of pitchers have trouble in the first inning. We talked about Dave Stewart having trouble in the first inning in a lot of starts this season. But once he gets his rhythm, especially an overpowering pitcher or a fastball pitcher like Bob Welch, if you let him out of this jam and he gets his rhythm, he could come back and beat you.
Mike Boddicker, sitting in the dugout, must be pleased. Already staked to a 3-run lead and maybe more. The bases are jammed. He gets the first pitch over to Reed for a strike. 1 strike on Reed. Left center field, and coming in, Javier still coming in. He makes the catch, and Greenwell will hold. Pretty strong throw by Javier. Wasn't hit deep enough. Greenwell wasn't even tagging up. He was about 4 or 5 feet down the line.
As I said, if you throw the high fastball, you will get a lot of fly balls pop up, and occasionally you'll strike out a lot of guys. But I think in this situation, you need a ground ball to get the double play. Now he's gotten himself out of the hole, so now there's two outs, and he can afford to just make sure he gets the hitter out.
All the guys that they can play in left field, this is the best defensive player the A's have. Polona, we've seen already in the ball game. They can play Parker out there. One strike. Polonia is the guy who has a lot of trouble with the breaking pitches. They didn't want him in there, and Javier doesn't really have a record against Boddicker, but they wanted to see what he could do. Left field, Javier deeper this time, going back to the edge of the warning track, still going back and puts it away. So the Red Sox are able to score 3 runs on 4 base hits as Welch finally gets out of the inning. 3-0 Boston. Hodge, left field, drops in for a base hit, and Burks comes in with the first run of the ball game. Going down to second is Barrett.
When you can hit, you can hit.
3-2 again, left center field, hustling over Javier. He stumbles, the ball gets by him, it goes to the wall. Barrett rounds third. He'll come in and score, and on his heels is Boggs, and 2 more runs to score. Bob Welch giving up 3 runs on 4 hits in the top half of the inning. Let's look now at the offensive lineup for the A's. Leading off will be Lansford. He's moved back in the leadoff spot. Henderson will be batting second in center field. Canseco, familiar number 3 spot. Parker, the DH, now batting cleanup. McGuire moves up from 7th to 5th in the batting order from game 2. Ron Hasse is the catcher. Javier, who made those 2 plays in left field. And then Gallego is back at second base after a game's absence. And Walter Weiss is the shortstop. Mike Boddicker, acquired July 29th from the Orioles. 7-3 after coming to the Boston Red Sox club. Outstanding changing of speeds, excellent fielding pitcher, and a further look, the inside pitch ball monitor.
Mike Boddicker is a control pitcher, and he has to get his breaking ball over to be effective. Basically, he has 3 curveballs, slow, slower, and slowest. Now, if he's getting those over for strikes, his fastball is going to be that much more effective. He also has a changeup that he likes to throw to left-handed hitters. He calls that his dead fish. And pitching in Oakland could be to his advantage because we all know that Oakland is not the home run park that Fenway is.
So Boddicker, he squared up against Bob Welch on August 29th. He lost that ball game. They went 3-0 after that.
There you see the defense for the Boston Red Sox. Benzinger, Barrett, Reed, and Boggs on the infield. Greenwell, Burks, Evans in the outfield. Gedman will do the catching, and Mike Boddicker on the mound.
Lansford, who led off in game 1, was dropped down in the order in game 2, but moves up. To start things off, he'll be followed by Henderson and Canseco against Boddicker. Carney 1 for 8 in the series, has a double.
And we'll see a lot of pitches like that from Mike Boddicker. That's a slow curveball.
Talking to Jim Lefebvre before the game as that one bounces in the dirt. You really have to have patience against Boddicker.
One of the things the Oakland A's do not show as hitters is a lot of patience. They're very aggressive hitters, and that works to the advantage of Mike Boddicker. There you see, he was trying to throw a fastball and he held on to it too.
To the live action, Lansford starts things off with a base hit.
Well, one thing that Mike Boddicker needs to do is his team has given him some runs, and what he needs to do is make those runs stand up here, especially in the first inning, so he can go back to the dugout and the Red Sox can take a deep breath and say, all right, we're on our way.
Well, you know, that's what the A's have done thus far. When they lose the lead, has come right back. And now they're trying to accomplish that same thing as Henderson comes to the plate. He's hitting .429 in this series. Lansford has very surprising speed. He has been able to steal 56 bases in the past 2 seasons. 29 this season. 1 strike the count on Henderson. Lansford's going. The throw by Gedman down, and they got him.
As I said, he will put guys in motion. I thought Lansford had a pretty decent jump, not a good one. And I actually thought maybe it was a hit and run, but watching the way he was running to second base, he didn't look back, so I don't think it was a hit and run.
I think, Joe, we need to give credit to Rich Gedman. He made an outstanding throw right there.
Gedman, you might recall, cut down Polonia going to third base in a game earlier in this series, so he has patrolled the base paths very well from that catching spot. Grounded foul in front of the plate.
There's a perfect example right there of what Mike Boddicker does to you as a hitter. There's kind of a sidearm wheelhouse, slow curveball. Henderson stutter steps with his lead foot that keeps the barrel out of the pay zone is what I call it.
You call it a sidearm,
sidearm wheeling.
You know what? Mike Boddicker actually invents pitches while he's out there on the mound. I really believe that. I faced him a few times, and he'll throw a sidearm fastball. He'll throw an overhand fastball. He'll throw a side wheeling, whatever you call it. But I really believe that he actually invents pitches while he's out there on the mound.
1-2 now on Henderson. On deck is Canseco. Trying to time it again. Reed charging, and it went right by him. And Henderson makes a turn. Now, Renee Latchman, the first base coach, wanted to be sure that Henderson was ready to go to second should that ball not get back into the infield in a hurry.
The difference here between the ball that Walter Weiss caught in the first inning and the ball that Jody Reed misses here. Watch, he is in between hops right there. Walt Weiss was able to charge it enough to get it on the short hop. Jody Reed charged it, and watch, it's an in-between hop. And you can't handle that very often as an infielder.
Weiss also was behind his ball, Joe, and looked like Jody Reed was in front of the ball. He overran it.
They've ruled that on the scoreboard a base hit. So at first, Henderson.
They've changed the value of what a hit is.
I'm surprised, guys. I looked at you. I thought it had to be an error, but they have ruled it a base hit. Guess because he didn't touch the ball. But
that's the second time that's happened. They've changed the value of a hit.
We might have had a few more percentage points on our batting averages if we would have gotten hits like that, Reg.
1 ball, 2 balls, no strikes now on Canseco.
Well, actually, what happened, Jody Reed played that into a hit by trying to catch it on the in-between hop. Either you do or you don't in a situation like that. He didn't come up with it. The scorer thought he tried to give it a good attempt, and he gave him a base hit.
But I don't think you're that convinced yet.
That was an error. How about that for being convinced?
3-0 now to Canseco. Parker due up next. 1 down and a runner on. Bottom of the first, 3-0 Boston.
During this series, from today on, I think you will see Boston try to take the bat out of Canseco's hand as often as possible. But you cannot totally pitch around a guy for a whole series. What they will do is try to rob him of at least 1 at-bat per ball game. And if you take that over a 4-game series or 5 games, whatever this goes, or 7 games, you're going to rob him of at least 1 game where you're taking him out of the lineup.
Or 5 or 6 at-bats the entire series.
Right. That's the first time Jose has walked in the series. Parker is up. Parker 1 for 4 thus far in the ALCS. Parker swings through it.
There's the fastball, the changeup that goes down. And watch, it just kind of hangs there for a second. Right there now, it just goes down.
That is a great straight changeup. I'm sure that Dave Parker not used to a lot of breaking pitches coming from the National League.
First base side, Benzinger with a great stab. He'll go unassisted. The runner's advancing. Wait a minute, what's happened to Canseco? He's trapped off a second. They have a rundown between second and third. The throw to home, Gedman chasing Henderson, and the tag is made. And I don't know whether Canseco forgot how many were out or what had happened.
Well, in either case, he made a base running mistake because you always have to look at the runner in front of you and you react to what he does.
Wow. They would have had runners at second and third with 2 down. Instead of they're out of the inning.
It's a great play by Benzinger. This ball takes a bad hop. Parker hit it hard. Now Benzinger comes and makes the play by himself. Now he looks up and he sees Canseco is halfway between second and third. And they start to run down. And Dave Henderson does a good job here of trying to help him out. You might as well try to score because it doesn't do you any good to stand at third base and they tag him out.
Benzinger did a good job running right at Jose. We played 1 inning. Boston with a 3-0 lead. Top half of the second inning, Ellis Burks has singled and scored a run, and here on tape is Burks with his second base hit of the ball game. He really hit that one solidly down the left field line, and he goes down to second with a stand-up double. Leadoff man is on for the second inning. Barrett trying to advance him over. Welch will tag Barrett, and Burks goes into third base. Sacrifice complete.
That is the 5th time in a row that Ellis Burks has hit a shot.
Well, you remember Lansford caught a shot down at third, then Henderson made that great catch in center field against him. So Burks down at third. This is a strange game. Let's go back to that Canseco play. Do you think he thought 3 was out, or do you think that possibly he thought the ball made it through Benzinger into the outfield? As Welch gets a call, strike on the outside corner.
Well, whatever he thought, it was a mistake, and you can't make mistakes like that, especially when you're down in the ball game 3-0.
Boggs, the first time singled to drive in a run.
The A's are playing the infield all the way in now. They do not want to fall 4-0 behind this early in the ball game.
Lansford on the infield grass, bent down. Weiss in tight at short. Welch now behind 2-1. And activity is Nelson up and throwing again for the Oakland A's. 3 balls and a strike.
Put that runner on third base again with less than 1 out, and Wade Boggs has been successful 17 out of 24 times. And of course, once the other day, you're not going to keep this man down that long.
Well, he has an advantage because of the high fastball.
Left field, Javier going back. Makes the catch, and tagging up to score easily will be Ellis Burks.
This is where a lot of players in the American League think it's unfair by playing in Fenway Park. Nice job there. Getting congratulations, Mr. Wade Boggs. But that ball is a double, maybe even a home run in Fenway Park. You get a base hit, you get an RBI. Here you get an RBI, but no base hit.
Tony La Russa didn't exactly say that, but that's the reason I felt that he did not want to start Bob Welch in Fenway Park. He gives up a lot of fly balls because he's a high fastball pitcher, and a lot of those fly balls would find a wall in left field and the short fence in right field in Boston.
Already the Red Sox have scored as many runs as they did in the first 2 as they lead it 4-0. La Russa's team struggling. Tony also told me, he said that the stat at home is just a circumstantial stat. He doesn't think the Coliseum makes that much difference for Bob Welch. Pretty circumstantial, though, when you're 13-4. 2-1 now on Mike Greenwell. Greenwell doubled to drive in 2 runs back in the first inning. 3 balls, a strike. It's been a long 2 innings for Bob Welch, trailing 4-0.
But actually, Bob Welch is throwing better this inning in that he's getting the ball down rather than throwing all high fastballs.
Greenwell hits it deep to right. Canseco turns, watches, it's out of here.
When you have a guy that throws a lot of high fastballs or throws a fastball that doesn't sink, you're going to get a lot of balls hit into the air, and we've seen that from Bob Welch here tonight.
Well, we said they needed to burst out of their slump. I think maybe they have done that. 5 runs and 6 hits, and Tony La Russa is on his way to the mound.
Well, you don't hit 320 all year long. You don't hit 366 all year long like Wade Boggs and Mike Greenwell, and not show up sooner or later.
Well, they had out-homered the Red Sox 15-2 prior to that one. That'll be the end of the line for Bob Welch. Gene Nelson will come in with the Red Sox leading by 5. Bob Welch, after going 1 2/3 innings, 55 pitches, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, walked 2, didn't strike anyone out, and committed that balk that you mentioned, Joe. Really unsettled him.
Well, his fastball was up in the strike zone, actually up out of the strike zone, and he continued to get behind the Red Sox hitters. And when you get behind those guys and have to throw the fastball, you're going to be in trouble.
So now with 2 out, Jim Rice is up to face Gene Nelson, who picked up a victory in game number 2 in relief. In fact, both of the victories in this ALCS have been by the relief corps. Honeycutt game 1, this guy game 2. Rice gets a piece of it. 0-2.
Gene Nelson is the kind of pitcher that Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa really appreciate. Any manager would. He'll throw at any time and go as long as you want to. He's always ready, always answer the bell. Good fastball, curveball, good straight changeup. Likes to throw a straight changeup to left-hand hitters.
Rice now the count of 1-2. He grounded out the first time. Rice stays at 2-2.
I think that's the best swing Jim Rice has had in this series to be when he's tried to drive the ball. I mean, if he would have hit that, he could have driven the ball out of the ballpark. Watch. He gets his hands and his hips into this. He's been swinging only with his arms and his hands.
Rice has been swinging the bat well the last month of the season. He hit 5 home runs in the month of September, Joe.
3-2 to Rice, center field. Henderson drifting back near the warning track, still going back, and he hauls it in. And so it's an inning that Bob Welch just couldn't survive as Nelson comes in. It's 5-0. Boston will return to the Oakland Coliseum after this word from our local stations. Greenwell hits it deep to right. Canseco turns, watches, it's out of here. Gary Bender, Joe Morgan, and Reggie Jackson. This guy 2 for 2. A double driving in a pair of runs. And then coming back to hit the home run in the second inning. And here it is.
You can't make a living throwing 3-1 fastballs to good hitters. And what happened tonight was Bob Welch came after the Boston Red Sox with only a fastball. He did not use many breaking balls. He did not throw the changeup. He went after him with hard stuff, and he tried to overpower him, and you can't do that to the Boston Red Sox.
As an end result, he has a place in the dugout. Mark McGuire to lead things off. McGuire will be followed by Ron Hasse and Stan Javier as the A's now in a catch-up posture. Bottom of the second, 5-0 Boston.
You were saying earlier that McGuire is one of the guys that you think will handle Boddicker. Well, I know for a fact that he hits breaking balls very well. Boddicker, a breaking ball pitcher. There you see the success he's had.
That's why I chose him. He and Lansford.
2-0 to McGuire, left field. Going back, Greenwell, and that ball is... Boy, what a home run for McGuire. Line shot out of here.
Mark McGuire has had success this 2 years in the major leagues, hitting breaking balls very well. He hits the fastball down, has trouble with the fastball up, as we saw against Clemens, where he was 0 for 10 with 4 or 5 strikeouts. But when Big Mac sees that breaking ball, his eyes light up, and the barrel of that bat gets warm and starts to collect the dues.
Boy, you guys called that one, Joe. You had it all the way. You talked about McGuire in the meeting last night, that he could have a big game. And so now the A's come back. They're a step back, now trailing by 4. McGuire with a home run, his second hit of the series. Ron Hasse fouls it back, and Gedman will have no play.
The home run is only 1 run, but it gets them on the board, and I think that's the important thing right here. As you see, goes down and gets the ball and really drives. It's a line drive that just goes right over the left field fence. He went down and got that ball, Reg.
Good breaking ball hitter, Joe.
Right.
So Canseco with 2 home runs for the A's, and now McGuire's hit 1.
Big, strong guy. You let those guys get the barrel of bat in the strike zone, you have problems.
Hasse timed that one beautifully and hits it up the middle. So after trailing 5-0, the A's have made it 5-1. Nobody out. Hasse at first and Javier at the plate.
The 3 guys I said at the beginning of the show that could handle his breaking ball were Ron Hasse, Mark McGuire, and Carney Lansford. All 3 of them have base hits, but that does not mean that the other guys can't hit it. It just means that these guys are exceptional off-speed hitters.
Hasse at first. Javier. First ball hitting, knocked down by Barrett. He'll go to second, and that's as far as he'll go. Pretty good play there by Barrett. So Hasse is erased. The first out of the inning. Javier on the fielder's choice down at first.
That's
That'll
good
bring
heads.
up Gallego.
That's good heads-up play by Marty Barrett. He keeps that ball there near where he can find it, and then goes and gets the lead runner to try to keep that man out of scoring position.
The ball hooked on him, Reggie. That's why he really couldn't catch it in the air. He started to his right, and the ball hooked back to his left, and he was only able to knock it down.
Gallego, little check swing. By the way, if you're wondering about Javier and his base stealing ability, he swiped 20 bases this year and was caught only one time. That was Cleveland's Andy Allenson that threw him out.
They just had a discussion at first base. They wanted to make sure Javier had the sign, and he wants to know whether he has the freedom to steal the base or whether they want him to stay at first base.
Gallego to short. Reed to second to Barrett, and Barrett can't get the ball away because Javier took him out.
It's a ground ball to shortstop. Reed gets the ball to Barrett pretty quickly, but you see one thing that I don't like to see second baseman do. Watch Barrett. He puts his right foot on the bag. Now he steps toward the runner right in the baseline. Now, if you go across the bag, you have time to get out of the runner's way. But if you step toward the runner, that closes the gap.
I think maybe he may have gotten a late throw from the shortstop, Joe. I like the slide by Javier to let Barrett know that, hey, we still think we're in the game.
Walt Weiss comes to the plate. Gallego now at first base. 2 down. 5-1 Boston.
Well, a lot of times you know that there's no double play, but you want to send a message. You want that opposition to know that, hey, I mean business. I came to play baseball today. You better get out of my way.
Weiss 2 for 7 in the series. A game-winning RBI in game 2. Strike. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Weiss. That may make it into the alley. It will. It's going to make it cut off by Burks. Rounding third is Gallego. He's being waved in by Lefebvre. He will score. Walt Weiss, RBI double, and it's a 5-2 ball game.
The Oakland A's never say die. Walt Weiss shoots this ball in the gap in the left center field. But watch, Ellis Burks goes over. When he retrieves the ball, they still have a chance to keep Gallego from scoring, but watch what he does. He overthrows the cutoff man right here. Watch. He misses the shortstop right there. No chance to throw to the plate.
Carney Lansford up. Left field, deep to left field, way back. Greenwell at the base of the wall. It's out of here. 2-run homer.
You had said earlier, Joe, that a 5-run lead is not that much this early in the ball game. The Oakland A's can never cease to amaze me. I don't know how good a ball club they are. They keep asking me, are they a great team? I'll tell you, I don't know if they're a great team, and I can tell you this. They don't believe that they can be beat. For some reason, they just keep on coming.
We'll get another look here, and as I said, Carney Lansford can handle the breaking ball, and he really drives this ball over the left field wall. And there you see Mike Greenwell drop his head because he knows they're back into a dogfight with the Oakland A's.
It's a 1-run game. Lansford with a 2-run home run. Cuts it to 5-4. The hits are even, and Bill Fisher's on the mound. You would think, the way Boddicker has been pitching, that the way they started this game, he was set up beautifully. But as mentioned, the A's have found ways to win. They can win any type of game, it seems.
Good teams find a way to win. See the ball that hangs up there. It's an off-speed pitch that hangs, and Carney Lansford does what you're supposed to do with hangers. He drives it out of the ballpark.
Joe, you had said that Lansford be one of the guys that would put the bat on the ball.
Right.
Looked like a prophet. Him up in that lineup.
Well, it's really, if you understand the hitters, you realize what it takes to hit the off-speed pitches. Lansford waits on the ball well. McGuire waits on the ball.
2 home runs.
They have a chance.
Look at this, Joe. 2 home runs this inning after allowing not 1 in the last 7 games. At the plate now is Dave Henderson, who had that tainted base hit back in the first inning. Home runs by McGuire. Lansford. 4 runs in the inning. 5-4 Boston. We're in the bottom of the second. There's that slow breaking ball that just seems to be so hard to wait on. 1-2. All third strike. So Henderson is the third out of the inning, but a big, big inning. 4 runs, 2 home runs in the inning. We've played 2. Boston by 1. 2-0 to McGuire. Left field. Going back Greenwell, and that ball is... Boy, what a home run for McGuire. Line shot out of here. Carney Lansford up. Left field, deep to left field. Way back. Greenwell at the base of the wall. It's out of here. 2-run homer. Well, this is becoming quite a slugfest. 5-4. We played only 2 innings after Welch was knocked out of the box. This guy giving up 4 hits and 4 runs in the second inning.
Well, Reggie, you say they asked you about the Oakland A's being a great team or whatever. I think they're an exceptional team for 2 reasons. Remember, Wednesday, we talked about the fact that they could handle a fastball, handle Roger Clemens' fastball. It was 3 different guys, I said, could handle his fastball. Now today we talk about 3 different guys to handle Mike Boddicker. What that says to me is they can handle any type of pitching with the lineup they have.
Dwight Evans will lead things off. Rich Gedman and Jody Reed. We move to the top of the 3rd. The hits are even at 6. Evans, right center field. Henderson going back to the warning track. Well, tomorrow on ABC Sports, the Dodgers will meet the Mets in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. Action begins live at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow here on ABC, and I hope the weather is a little bit better than it was today. That looked tough back in Shea Stadium. Gedman at the plate. He walked back in the first. 1 down, top of the 3rd. 1 out, 2-2 pitch to Gedman. Gallego can't get to it. Base hit, center field.
Great swing. Success means you've had a great swing.
You know, sarcasm does not fit you well at all. So Gedman is on with 1 down, and Reed, who flied to left. And here is a magnificent view back across into San Francisco. What a beautiful, beautiful area this is. They were hoping they would have a Bay Bridge series between the Giants and A's. Now some people talking maybe an all-California World Series between the Dodgers and these guys.
How about the team from the Big Apple? They got anything to say about it?
I don't know. Where are those guys? New York, Reggie?
And the people back east are hoping for a rematch of the '86 series. So fans are all around the country pulling for their own choices.
2-1 to Reed, and that'll make it into right field. Gedman makes the turn at second. He's on his way to third. Canseco will bring it into Gallego, and we have runners now on the corners with 1 down.
The Red Sox are playing their type of game, scoring runs and scoring early. They need base hits. They know it. Jody Reed takes this fastball that's up and smacks it into right field behind the runner. You see him stay up on top of that ball, mash it into right field, and now you've got runners at the corners with 1 out.
I guess this warm weather has just kind of picked up the hitting on both sides. As with 2 hits in the inning now, 2 men on and 1 out. Here's Benzinger, who flied to left the first time. Inside, and now it's even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners at first and third. 5-4 Boston. There is Gedman at third. What in the world was that? I didn't jump too high, did I?
It's a Canseco home run. Monster bash.
I tell you, I was 10 feet up. You guys handled it better than I did, I'll tell you that. Somebody fired a cannon or a firecracker or something down that left field line, and McClellan, the umpire, wants to be sure everything is back to normal before they resume play. 2-2 now to Benzinger. Second base. The double play in order, and they got it. Nice double play. Gallego to Weiss. Off to McGuire. It's 5-4 now after 2.5. The A's defensively have been outstanding, especially at that second base and shortstop position, whether it's Gallego or Hubbard, or in this case, it was Gallego to Weiss. Look at the play Walt Weiss made to get rid of the throw. Canseco starts things off. Parker to follow. And then Mark McGwire, who hit the home run back in the second. 5-4 Boston. 8 hits for the Red Sox, 6 for the A's. Short right field. In fact, first base as Benzinger will bring it down. 1 down. Weiss making that play a while ago, just showing again why a lot of people think he'll be the American League Rookie of the Year. The Goodyear Blimp Columbia, based in Carson, California. The pilot is John Creighton of Redondo Beach. And look at that sunset over the Pacific.
Gary, Kurt Young continues to throw in the bullpen, so I think he's going to come into the ball game as soon as he's ready.
Dave Parker with 1 down, with McGwire to follow. Parker, the first time, grounded out unassisted to first.
And as soon as I said that, he sat down.
Well, he's warmed up. Parker got a piece of it. 1-1. A lot of people had said that this guy might be an unsettling player. Pete Rose had said some things about him in Cincinnati, but La Russa said he has been outstanding, fitting in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Dave Parker is a good guy to have on a ball club because he's enthusiastic about the game of baseball. He plays to win. He plays hard, and that helps a lot of young players.
Very vocal. He keeps the team loose.
He's a lot of fun.
1-2 to Parker. Call strike 3. 2 down, and that'll bring up McGwire.
Dave Parker, you see so many breaking balls, and all of a sudden, Mike Boddicker sneaks that, well, snuck a curveball in there.
Well, I think that was a slider. Yeah,
a little bit harder.
Curveball.
He gets you looking for other things, and all of a sudden he sneaks one by you. Like you say, Joe, he tries to almost invent something no matter what he's doing out there on the mound.
Second strikeout for Boddicker brings up McGwire with the home run back in the second inning. McGwire with 49 home runs in his rookie year, 32 this year. Just missed the 100 RBI mark with 99. 1-0 to McGwire. Even at 1-1.
Really came on strong the last 6 weeks of the season. Wound up with 32 home runs and 99 RBIs, and at one time he was hitting in the 2 teens, 215 or 18.
Got him fishing 1 and 2. Lefebvre was saying that one thing that helped him is he quit trying to undercut every ball, to get the ball in the air, try to hit it on line drives, and they started to go out of the ballpark. 1 ball, 2 strikes to McGwire.
They had even talked about him earlier in the season of whether he was afraid of the baseball. He got hit in the head a couple times, hit a few times, and he wouldn't charge him out because he's such a great guy. He charged him out one day, all of a sudden he started hitting home runs, and he wasn't afraid of the baseball anymore.
Reed, backhand, but he'll have no play. Base hit. So McGwire now 2 for 2 in the game, and with 2 down, Ron Hasse, who singled back in the second inning.
To hit the breaking ball, you have to wait on it, and you could see him sit back and wait just a hair longer, and he was able to pull it in the hole. Jody Reed goes over, but the ball's just too deep for him to make a play. To hit the fastball, you have to be quick. To hit the curveball, you have to wait on it. To hit the slider, you have to wait and be quick. That's why it's such a tough pitch.
That's why it's such a tough game.
Right.
So now with 2 out, Hasse at the plate. Right field, way back, gone. 2-run homer. comeback. Trailing in this ball game 5-0, and for the first time the A's have the lead.
This is a fastball, and Ron Hasse gets every bit of it. It was a home run right as it left the bat, and that is a mistake. Mike Boddicker did not get the ball in. The ball was up right out over the plate, and Mike Boddicker did not do the job tonight. His job was to give him the kind of pitching effort that Roger Clemens gave them and the kind that Bruce Hurst gave them, to keep them in the ball game, so that if they scored 4 or 5 runs, they'd have an opportunity to win the game.
He gives up 3 home runs. Wes Gardner is coming in relief. We'll be back with this pitching change, with the A's leading now by 1. Wes Gardner in relief now of Boddicker with 2 down, and Javier grounds to second, and Barrett will take him out of the inning. But the A's, after trailing 5-0 after an inning and a half, have taken the lead for the first time, 6-5 after 3. So now with 2 out, Hasse at the plate. Right field, way back, gone. 2-run homer. We go now to the top half of the 4th. Ellis Burks, who has 2 base hits and has scored 2 runs, will lead things off. He'll be followed by Marty Barrett and Wade Boggs. Gene Nelson continues on the mound, even though Kurt Young has been warming up from time to time. Burks, third base, foul. So Boddicker, after being staked to a 5-0 lead, gives up 3 home runs, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. First base side, McGuire. And so for the first time in the game, they get Burks out. And that'll bring up Barrett, who singled and scored a run and had a sacrifice back in the second, advancing Burks over.
That's where the foul territory comes into play here. We take a look at Ellis Burks. A little conversation on the mound. That ball is out of play in most ballparks in the major leagues. Here, there's still plenty of room left.
Marty Barrett. Strike call on Marty.
It's interesting, Reggie, when you talk about all the foul ground here, and even in the other ballpark here in the Bay Area, Candlestick Park. That's why I don't think you'll ever have a batting champion at either one of these ballparks, because you lose too many at-bats. When you foul balls, it would be in the stands, and you get another swing, you're out here in the Coliseum.
Well, a lot of people say, hey, it's not fair to me to play in Oakland or to play in a big ballpark. It's too tough for me to lead the league in home runs.
Popped up, third base side, Lansford foul territory. And 2 big pop-ups here in this inning.
That's why there's been some conversation about making all the ballparks the same distances to the fence in the outfield.
I don't think they can do that.
I don't think it'll ever happen either. And besides, I like seeing Fenway Park's short fence. I like to see Yankee Stadium. That's baseball.
That ball's out of play in Fenway as well.
Boggs, who was singled and had a sacrifice RBI back in the second inning. I thought Boggs has really handled all the media pressure well. And he left all those 7 men on the base paths. He didn't duck anybody, didn't dodge anyone.
Fans try to get on a guy like this, or the media tries to get on a guy like this. What you do is make him better. He's a great player. You're going to push him to another level.
1 ball, 2 strikes. This guy has had some distractions through the year and just continued to play splendidly. 2-2 now on Boggs. The numbers this guy continues to pile up are just nothing short of sensational. He has the 4th all-time highest batting average, and that's another base hit. So with 2 down, Boggs with his 2nd hit of the ball game, and that'll bring up Greenwell, who is 2 for 2. And tomorrow on ABC Sports, we'll continue this American League Championship Series, the Red Sox and A's, Game 4. The time, 2:30 Eastern, here from the Oakland Coliseum. So either the Red Sox are really going to be backed up, trailing 3-0, nor they climb back in, trailing 2-1. And right now, I would hate to guess the way this is going.
Well, you're going to see some more scoring. They know they've got to score. They know what this ball game means to them. They're not going to go down just like that.
Greenwell with a double, 2 RBIs, then came back with a home run in the second.
But I tell you what, Reggie, the strength of the Oakland A's is their bullpen. Their middle and short relievers can do the job.
1-0 to Greenwell, and the count now goes to 2-0. There's a guy, you talk about relief.
Well, you know, I was just getting ready to use his name. When I was here in Oakland, we played 7-inning games. Same way when I was with the Yankees. We had the Goose, we had Raleigh Fingers, and the Red Sox are aware that the A's have a guy just like him and Dennis Eckersley. You only play 7-inning ball games when you play for the A's because Mr. Eckersley comes in with the goose eggs in the 8th and the 9th.
I tell you, I'd really been disappointed if he'd quit wearing that mustache after he quit playing. Doesn't that look great? I love it. That's one of the institutions of the game. 2 balls a strike now on Greenwell. Right field, Canseco waits. And that will retire the side. So Boggs gets a base hit, but there's no more damage. We now go to the bottom of the 4th, 6-5 Oakland. And the sun now disappearing behind San Francisco. As we go now to the bottom of the 4th. Wes Gardner on the mound, and Mike Gallego lead things off. He'll be followed by Weiss and then the top of the order. You know, you're talking about Greenwell and the soon-to-be-born baby boy or girl, and this guy and his wife, Gallego's wife, are expecting twins. Karen's his wife's name. So they're going to have some double trouble.
And you know what's interesting? His license plate says turn 2.
That'll teach him. Full count. That was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball by the 6'4", 203-pounder.
The Red Sox have to get a good pitching performance from their middle relief guys. They've got to keep their ball club in contention with a chance to win the game. He can't go 3-2 and be walking hitters.
Gallego gets that one into right field for a base hit. Getting over quickly to come up with it is Dwight Evans. And on with the leadoff single, Gallego.
He cannot allow that to happen. He's got to shut this offense down and keep your 8th and 9th place hitters like Mike Gallego off the base pass. You don't, you're going to run into trouble.
Walt Weiss, who's been pretty good at the plate thus far. He has 3 hits in the series, including a double back in the second and the game-winning RBI in game number 2. Left field, Greenwell. 1 down as Gallego will have to go back to first. Carney Lansford in the second inning with a 2-run blast. And we're going to go back and look at it once again. And as you guys mentioned, there was no question where this ball was headed. It was all the way out and then some.
This ball was hit very well by Carney Lansford. And as Lon Simmons says, away back, you can tell a goodbye. It was hit halfway up the bleachers.
Lansford with a base hit and a 2-run home run thus far. Right center field, now Evans drifting over. And Gallego will go back to first with 2 down.
Now batting, center fielder, Dave Henderson.
Gallego this year has stolen 2 bases, been caught 3 times. One ball, 1 strike on Henderson. 1 ball, 1 strike to Henderson. Ball strike 2, 1-2. 1-2 Henderson, and he struck him out. So Gallego is stranded at first. That's the second time Henderson has struck out. 6-5 Oakland. First ball hitting Jim Rice, and Lansford comes up throwing, and Rice erased on 1 pitch as he leads things off here in the top half of the 5th inning. That'll bring up Dwight Evans. Evans is walked and fly to center field. A lot of talk about Rice this year. Should have worn glasses, not seeing all that well. He wears them when you see him in the clubhouse and driving a car and around, but not when he plays the game.
Says they're uncomfortable for him. I wore them.
1 down, and Evans looks at the pitch go high, and it's 1-0.
I can understand where they could be uncomfortable with certain people. I tried to wear glasses, and my peripheral vision kept grabbing the right lens, and therefore, I mean, the right side of the glasses, so therefore I could not concentrate on the pitch coming. I could always see the corner of the lens, and it just bothered me. So I could not wear glasses. I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Well, you said he perspired so much. That was what was bothering him, as Evans fouls 2 back, and he count is 1 and 2.
I think it's something that maybe you need to realize that you have to do, and you don't have a choice. For me, I had astigmatism, and I did not see that well, and it was out of my lead eye, my right eye. I had to have them, and toward the end of my career, I wore a very outdated old-style frame because the ones I had I was successful with, I refused to change it.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Evans.
Comes a time when you just have to realize this is something I have to do to compete on this level.
They appeal down to first, and Greg Koss says no, he didn't, and it's 3 and 2.
We'll get another look at the pitch here. You can see the pitch goes down and away. The question was whether Dwight Evans took a swing or not.
I think he went too far, but 16, 17-year veteran, benefit of the doubt. If a rookie would have done that, I bet you it would have been a strike.
He walked him, so Evans will go down to first. By the way, I want to update you on that Jack Howell story. He has admitted, of course, I should say Jay Howell, and he's admitted that he did put the pine tar in his glove just to help him with the bad weather conditions. And we want you to know, should we hear further on that news as to what the eventual, I guess, ruling will be, we'll pass it along.
1972, Campy Campaneris was suspended for the remainder of the playoffs when he threw a bat at Laren LeGros.
They're shorting up at the corners on him, and he is hit by a pitch ball.
It's going to be trouble. That's going to be trouble.
He threw the bat.
So there is precedence here for suspending people from the playoffs.
Well, Joe, I don't think that this one was that severe. I know a lot of pitchers in the American League.
Right field, Gedman, base hit. Evans makes the turn. He's on his way to third, and we now have runners at first and second base with 1 out.
That give up rockets like that. And Rich Gedman has been swinging the bat exceptionally well. That's what Walt Heriniak said before the ball game. The fastball is rocketed in the right field. Jose Canseco makes a nice play on this ball to keep it to a single.
Gedman's having quite a series. He now has 5 hits in the ACLS as he's down at first base.
As I was saying earlier, I could name 10 or 15 pitchers in the league that use pine tar on the breaking ball. I don't think it is incorrect, it's wrong, but I don't think it's that severe. I don't think you can compare it to an unsportsmanlike conduct act of throwing the bat at the pitcher.
Reed at the plate. Jody single back in the third, fly to left in the first.
This will make a great argument. I know.
No, I agree with you that it's not as severe, but that's like any rule in baseball is put in there to keep the game fair. And if you're taking advantage, you're doing something illegal, you should be penalized for it.
A lot of guys use that pine tar on that breaking ball, buddy. A lot of guys. I've played with a ton of them. Cutting the ball, spit ball, that kind of thing. Taxing your glove, okay. It's almost understood that pitchers use pine tar on the breaking ball. If it's a rule, okay, I'll accept the punishment of taking him out of the ball game today. But I'll tell you, everybody does it, partner. Everybody does it.
Does that make it right?
Good point. That's what I'm saying.
I'm still not giving in.
Third base, Lansford. He's going to go to second for 1. The relay to first. No, they didn't get him in a run scores. Dwight Evans comes home, and wait a minute now.
Interference at second base.
Interference at second base by Gedman takes him out of the inning. Did I say this is a strange game on the base pass? And an argument now. Joe Morgan's out there. Gedman is out there. It's Ken Kaiser, the second base umpire.
I need to see the slide. I disagree with the call. I saw a very aggressive slide by Javier. Yes, he was in the baseline. It'll depend here if Rich Gedman can reach the bag with his hand as he's sliding. There he's calling it an illegal roll block. disagree with this call. Joe?
Well, they do not get the tying run, and Ken Kaiser is being besieged at second base. That block would have been very good on our ABC College doubleheader today, or football that we had. And Morgan, who earlier got after Kaiser, remember, in Fenway Park, is after him again.
I think he's got a right to. That's the tying run.
So what happens is the tying run by Evans does not count. It's still 6-5 in favor of the A's. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning as the argument continues.
IBM presents You Make the Call. In Chicago's Wrigley Field, a batter hits a long fly ball that disappears in the ivy on the outfield wall. How far can the man who hit the ball advance? You make the call. A fly ball lost in the ivy at Wrigley Field is a ground rule double. Of course, it doesn't hurt to find the ball. If you said 2 bases, you made the right call.
While we were away, Joe Morgan argued the entire time. After he quit talking to Kaiser, he went over and talked to McClellan. Let's look at it again. Gedman into second.
Well, I was told by an umpire recently that once you give up going for the bag, you can be called out for interference. No doubt there, he went after Gallego.
Here's the guy that's going to pitch tomorrow for the Red Sox, Bruce Hurst. He obviously didn't agree with it. So the tying run does not count as we begin now the bottom of the 5th inning. Canseco, Parker, and McGuire. 6-5 Oakland. Jose, center field, short. Burks hustling in, and also Evans, and Burks takes it. Leadoff man is erased, so Canseco now walked once, popped up, and flied to right field.
You see Burks coming in, and you'll see Dwight Evans go behind him. The center fielder is in charge out there. You have to give him all that he can catch. He's supposed to be able to get to, he's supposed to catch. If he can get to it, you let him take the play.
Dave Parker, he's grounded out, unassisted to first, called out on strikes back in the 3rd. 6-5 Oakland. They trailed 5-0 after an inning and a half. Came storming back. 4 runs in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd. 1 ball, no strikes on Parker.
This ball club refuses to believe it can be beat, Gary.
Not a bad characteristic to have.
It's what you've got to have if you're going to be a champion.
Parker fouls it back, 1-1. Speaking of champions, the numbers of Parker, as you look at the A's dugout, really something. He was the most valuable player in the National League in '78. And I think people forget this guy won 2 batting titles. Those occurring in '77 and '78. 1-2. Ball strike. His average this year dipping down considerably, but you have to remember he was out 44 games with a right thumb injury.
And I think he was also adjusting to a new league. I think he will be much better next year.
Call, 3rd strike.
Not if he takes pitches like that.
That's the 2nd time he's been called out on strikes in this game.
He struck out before on a slider on the inside corner from Boddicker, but this is a curveball right in the middle of the plate. You've got to hack at that.
He's just looking for something else in the National League. It's a fastball leg.
And not with 2 strikes. You don't look for anything with 2 strikes. You look for the ball.
They tell me you guys over there, fastball leg, huh?
No, you look for the fastball and adjust to the breaking ball.
Okay.
We got that settled down? McGuire 2 for 2. Right field, and Evans has to play it on the hop. McGuire on with his 3rd hit of the ball game. Mark McGuire is having one of those typical Mark McGuire days. I mean, he can just be devastating. Hasse up. Hasse also 2 for 2 of the ball game. A 2-run home run in the 3rd. He singled back in the 2nd inning. Full count now. On deck, Javier.
I think again, Joe, you know as well as I do, you cannot continue to run the count 3-2 and stay behind the hitters. To me, that's like being behind the hitter because you've got to come in with a strike.
I agree. You cannot pitch well from behind. In the count, that is.
Here comes full count now. 3-2 on Hasse. The runner running down to second. Of course, that ball headed maybe into the gap, and it's going to make it and go into the stands. Nope, it's still playable. They bring it back in. It looked like it might be a ground rule double for a moment. And McGuire is able to come in and score, and it's now a 7-5 game.
Ron Hasse swinging the bat exceptionally well. Joe Morgan, you had said earlier that he's going to be one of your guys that put the bat on the ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He's got to come in with a strike. There's 2 outs. The runner is moving. You're not going to throw him out at home. Not good baseball.
That ball almost made it in, but it's still a double anyway. An RBI double for Hasse, and McGuire now scores to make it 7-5, and they're going to put Javier on. They're stirring in the Boston Red Sox bullpen. Mike Smithson is up and throwing. So going down to first on the intentional walk is Javier. Hasse still at second. Morgan looking skyward for some help. And there is Smithson.
Going into the ball game, Joe Morgan felt like the Red Sox would be able to erupt and score some runs. That was true. But he counted on a better pitching performance from Mike Boddicker.
So Gallego with a man in scoring position. He got his first hit in the series back in the 4th inning. Runners at first and second. 2 out. Strike call. Strike call.
You know, a lot of times a pitcher will say, I got Canseco out, I got Parker out. They'll have a letdown. Hey, you've got to remember Mark McGuire, Ron Hasse, and these people can swing the bat as well. You've got to keep that level of intensity up.
You have to be able to close out the inning, Reg. You're right.
0-2 to Gallego, called third strike. But the A's able to come back and pick up a run. They now lead at 7-5. We'll return to the Oakland Coliseum after this word from our local stations.
It's a hit. New starting lineup. The official collection of Major League Baseball stars. So real they seem alive. There's Gary Carter. Great uniform. Wally Joyner hitting a homer. Ozzie Smith.
Looks just like him.
And each has a collector's card. Find out who hit the most home runs, who had the most strikeouts. Yes, fans, starting lineup. So real they seem alive. Collect all your favorite Boston Red Sox and Detroit Tigers like Wade Boggs and Jack Morris. Each sold separately from Kenner.
Leading off for Boston.
Well, we've played 5 innings, and while we're away, we were told that Bruce Hurst, who we had earlier, here he is, really arguing about the play at second. He was thrown out of the game. And again, he's the starting pitcher tomorrow. So Kurt Young now has come in, the left-hander.
I knew I'd get him in there eventually.
Well, he warmed up enough, didn't he? Benzinger leading it off, the 9th man in the order. Then comes Burks and Barrett. 7-5 Oakland. Now Kurt Young has had some great moments for this team. He was struggling during the part of the season that they just couldn't seemingly get him around and off the bottleneck he had hit. They sent him down to Tacoma, and he worked things out, came back, and pitched so well. And there was talk he would start Game 6 if there was a Game 6, as Benzinger strikes out. For the inside pitch on Kurt Young, here's Paul Molitor.
Kurt Young is a comfortable pitcher to face. However, there's not too many of them that will tell you that they've had a lot of success against him during their career. He's a very intelligent pitcher out there on that mound, and he has that instinct as to when to put a little bit extra on the fastball as well as when to take a little bit off. He's also a tremendous finesse pitcher because he can hit that inside corner as well as that outside corner. If he has that good control, he's going to be very tough to hit.
So the first man that he faced, Benzinger, found him very tough. Goes down on strikes. 1-0 now on Ellis Burks, the top of the order.
One thing that Paul Molitor did not mention there is that he has a very good slider, and he's been using it a lot lately.
What happened to Kurt Young is he had trouble with his control. Got bombed over in Detroit, gave up 5 home runs in 1 ball game. And not only was he having trouble with his control, he then had his confidence shaken.
Call strike 1 and 2. Well, Young, when he went down to Tacoma, was 6 and 7, had an earned run average of 5.77. Came back, Reggie, and went 4 and 1 and an ERA of 1.93. That's a dramatic turnaround.
I know that Dave Duncan and Tony Russo were constantly wondering how they were going to get his confidence back. Obviously, they did it.
1-2 now on Burks. He stays alive. Well, there's 2 Youngs on this pitching staff. One of them is Matt Young, who never did pitch this year. He finally had surgery. I talked to him before the game. Said the arm's coming along a lot faster than they anticipated. Matt was the guy they thought would be a big factor, and Kurt instead had the year that they wanted, and he has struck out the first 2 men he's faced. That'll bring up Marty Barrett.
Both of these first 2 strikeouts have come on the slider. And you see he's got a classic left-handed motion. And you'll see here the hard slider breaking down and in on Ellis Burks. Right there. That's his out pitch.
2 down now. Top of the 6th inning, and Barrett, 1 hit in the ball game, scored a run back in the 1st inning.
He tries to get you to look for that fastball on the outside corner, Joe, make you think right field, because he also has an outstanding changeup or an off-speed pitch off that fastball. All of a sudden, he gets you thinking like that, and then bang, the lefty comes in with the slider on the inside to the right-handers.
Barrett to Weiss. And it's a very easy inning for Kurt Young and the A's. We go now to the bottom of the 6th inning. Oakland trying to go up 3-0, lead by 2. The home of the American League West Division champions, the Oakland A's, as through the eyes of the Goodyear Blimp Columbia. Pilot John Creighton of Redondo Beach, and Goodyear has built over 300 blimps since 1925. Leading things off now will be Weiss. He'll be followed by Lansford and Henderson. 7-5, Oakland, bottom of the 6th inning. Wes Gardner continues on the mound. Strike 2. We just pointed out by our statistician George Hill that all but 1 run in this ball game by the A's has come with 2 outs.
Well, it means the Boston Red Sox were not able to close out the inning. It doesn't do you any good to get the first 2 guys out if you do not close out the inning.
Foul back. It also shows you something about the A's, too.
Right. Well, I'll tell you something else about this ball game. The Boston Red Sox were down coming into the ball game. They jumped out, got 5 runs. The A's came back with 4 and then took the lead. The Boston Red Sox are really in trouble because their confidence is lagging. They went up to the top of the mountain by going ahead. Now they've dropped to the bottom of the valley.
Barrett, nice backhand stab, and he gets Weiss. It's kind of like the boxer. Comes out, throws everything he's got.
Exactly.
The guy's still around. And then you realize you're in trouble.
It's a nice play by Barrett. He goes to his right, backhands the ball, takes 1 step. That's the key. Gets rid of it quickly. And he gets Walt Weiss at first base. Nice play by the second baseman.
Toughest part of that play is the throw.
Exactly. You have to get rid of it quickly because normally you don't have time to plant unless you have a cannon for an arm.
Lansford, see the numbers for the night. The big blow, that 2-run home run back in the 2nd inning. 1 ball, no strikes. Henderson to follow. 2-0 to Lansford, and Boggs has to go high for that one. And there's another fine defensive play. 2 down. You know what was interesting coming into this game? Well, we'll take a look at this first.
It's a very fine play here, Gary. You see Boggs reach up, go get that ball to cut the time down.
Dave Henderson.
And he gets Lansford. Very nice call by the umpire. Here's another angle. Lansford gets on top of the ball. Big Baltimore chop. Boggs goes up to meet the ball. He has made himself an outstanding fielder. He wanted to be a complete player. He has done that.
So with 2 out now, Henderson at the plate. I started to say, this year when the A's score first, they've had a record of 67-18, only 37-40 when they didn't. Well, they didn't score first tonight.
Well, I'm going back to something Reggie said earlier in the ballgame. This is the bottom of the 6th inning. The Red Sox are going to bat in the top of the 7th. You said they had 9 outs. I believe they only have about 4 or 5, because then they're going to go to the Eck in the bullpen, and once he comes in, I think it's going to be over. So I think the Boston Red Sox will have to score next inning in order to get back into this ball game.
Eckersley already has come in, posted the save. Last time out, there he is. He had a day off, so that's all he needs.
He's just lurking in the woods down there. They know he's there.
And that is a 3-up and 3-down inning as Henderson goes down on strikes. We've played 6. Oakland 7. The Red Sox 5. Well, things are looking up for the Oakland A's. They have a lead of 7-5. They're up 2 games to none, and they have a left-hander, Kurt Young, who really is an excellent situation for Tony La Russa. We'll talk more about that as leading things off, Wade Boggs, base hit left field. Boggs with his 3rd hit of the ball game, and he's going into second. The throw is there, and he is in there safely. Heads up, base running.
This is the kind of thing that we've been looking for from the Red Sox, someone to step forward, and it could be Wade Boggs, 3 for 3 tonight. He lines that ball in the left center field, and you see Henderson bobble that ball, and Boggs takes an aggressive approach and winds up at second base.
Heads up play by Wade Boggs, so in scoring position, the leadoff man.
It scored as a, well, they put an error up there now.
Are they putting an error? So it's a base hit and an error. Greenwell, first ball hitting, and Henderson's there.
It's a good pitch right there. That ball was in on Greenwell. Kurt Young did a good job. After allowing the base hit by Boggs, he comes back and gets the job done. Keeps that ball in on a 320 hitter.
Well, see, that's a situation there where Greenwell needed to pull the ball to right field if he's going to hit a fly ball. At least pull it on the ground to the right side and move a guy over because you're trailing.
Monday Night Football, Phil Simms of the Giants and the Eagles. Action beginning 9 o'clock Eastern here on ABC. Right now, Lansford goes to the mound to talk to Young. Joe, we were just talking about Kurt Young. What a good situation for La Russa. Welch gets hammered. You get Nelson in to get to Young, and Young, who has been such an effective pitcher and a left-hander, which the Red Sox have a lot of trouble with.
Well, they've had a lot of trouble with left-handed pitching, especially the last couple of weeks. And now Tony La Russa is coming out as Jim Rice steps in. But they have had a lot of problems with left-handed pitching the last couple of weeks.
I think what they're doing is just giving a little time for Eric Plunk to get heated up. He does not want Jim Rice, I don't think, to face Kurt Young. Jimmy has had problems hitting hard stuff, turning on the fastball. Here's an opportunity for them to get back into the game, and he wants Jimmy Rice to see a hard fastball.
So, as we explained the Kurt Young thing, he leaves. And now Eric Plunk, the hard-throwing right-hander, will come in. With the inside pitch on Eric Plunk, here's Paul Molitor.
Eric Plunk may not be one of your household names in baseball, but he is one of the hardest-throwing pitchers in baseball. But he's just wild enough to keep those hitters from being comfortable in that batter's box. He also has an excellent curveball. However, he has trouble getting that pitch into the strike zone. And if hitters have a chance to see him a second time around, they usually have the ability to start catching up to that fastball.
Plunk making his first appearance, 1 down, a runner at second, the batter Jim Rice. And Plunk at 6'5", 210 pounds.
Anytime Eric Plunk comes into the ball game, you start to worry about his control, whether he will be able to get that good fastball in the strike zone.
1 ball, no strikes to Rice. Boggs down at second. Swings through it, 1-1.
This is the reason that Eric Plunk is in the ball game. The book on Jimmy Rice is that he cannot catch up with the fastball. We take a look at it there. He's throwing that ball right by him, and that ball is just a little bit above belt high. Tony La Russa brought him in to face these next 2 hitters. Get a little age on you, and they try to run the ball by you.
Behind the plate now to play. You know what's interesting about this is Kurt Young, who was in there for 3 1/3 innings, threw 11 strikes in the 12 pitches.
Well, I don't think he has any trouble with his control, but Eric Plunk does have problems with his control, but he throws so hard you see a lot of hitters chase the fastball out of the strike zone. Jim Rice just chased one.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh. Ball, 3rd strike. And what was that? That wasn't a fastball.
That was a breaking ball. You've got to gear up to hit this guy's fastball. And when you get a little age on you, I can, you know, this is true. You try to gear that bat up and cheat a little bit, get it started. All of a sudden you see the breaking ball and you just freeze.
Wow. You got to like that. Rice looking for the fastball, got the breaking ball, and there are 2 outs. Evans is up. He's walked twice in a ball game. One ball, 2 strikes. Evans gets a piece of it, gets it into right field for a base hit, making the turn on his way home is Boggs. The throw to Hasse, he's in, and it's a 1-run game.
Where Dwight Evans did an outstanding job here. He looked like he was bailing a little bit, but he kept the bat in the strike zone and hit that ball to right field, right in the right spot to get an RBI.
Now that heads-up play by Boggs looks awfully big, doesn't it? Where he got into second base when he watched Henderson bobble the ball. It's now a 7-6 game in favor of the A's, and La Russa back to the mound again, and we're going to have another pitcher.
So many times I've seen Rick Honeycutt coming in, them try to bring in a left-hander to face Rich Gedman, and somehow it just doesn't work out. I remember in 1986, Gary Lucas came in behind Mike Witt and hit him. The other night, Cataray comes in, home run. Is the 3rd time a charm? But for which team?
Well, I guess you'd say, should he left Kurt Young in there? Plunk did get Rice on a called 3rd strike, but Evans just kind of reached out and able to put it into right field and cut the A's lead to 1. So Honeycutt, the left-hander, now with 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Gedman, who already in this ball game has 2 base hits, will be facing the left-hander. First base, McGuire, diving stop. Big play by the big first baseman. And so 1 pitch by Honeycutt, and he ends it. Boston picks up a run. They trail by 1. Mark McGuire 3 for 3 on the day. Let's go back to the play he just made to end the last inning.
Outstanding play, a dive. He stays with the ball, kept his eye on it, and got the A's out of a potential big inning.
Canseco, Parker, and McGuire, the middle of the order now for the Oakland A's, who had their lead whittled to 1. Canseco has walked, popped up, and flied to center. 1 strike. Bob Stanley warming up in the bullpen now for the Red Sox. 0-2. There he is.
But Jose is not following the ball nearly as well as he was over in Boston. His swings aren't as crisp nor as compact.
Well, watch him, then he'll hit the next one out. That's the way he is.
He's got that left field fence on in his left eye there. He is a great hitter when he plays the ball to right center field and keeps the ball in the middle of the diamond. The fence is not big enough for him.
1-2.
Start to have trouble when you start thinking home run. You start thinking about that left field fence, you shorten your swing down.
Interesting graphic.
So Canseco strikes out, leading things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Parker, who has struck out twice, will come up next.
Now batting, designated hitter.
Well, we're going to look at this breaking ball. It breaks down and away from Jose, and he cannot lay off of it. It actually breaks out of the strike zone. But with 2 strikes, it's tough for the big fellas not to chase that pitch.
So Parker 0 for 3. That's the 5th strikeout now for Gardner. Gardner's done a very good job in relief now as he's weathered these middle innings and getting it now here in the bottom of the 7th. That's a fair ball into the corner. Parker on his way to second. Digging it out is Greenwell. The throw comes in, a stand-up double.
Gets that double in front of a hot hitter, Mark McGuire. Big Dave coming through.
Dave Parker, when he led the National League in batting several years ago, he would hit a lot of balls like that. He hit the ball all over, and that's why he was able to hit for a high average. He is not a pull hitter. He uses the whole field.
Parker in scoring position with 1 down, and McGuire 3 for 3.
Joe, there are very few pull hitters. There's a lot of guys that pull the ball, but very few pull hitters. I mean a guy that hits more than 260.
7-6 Boston. McGuire fouls it back.
He had a lot of people earlier in the season, I think you know it, Joe, that people said, I think he's afraid of the ball. He took offense to that. Consequently, the next guy that hit him, he went to the mound and said, all right, you think I'm scared? Take a look at this.
And so another strikeout registered in the inning. Both Canseco and McGuire go down swinging, and that brings up Ron Hasse, and Hasse has 3 hits in this game.
It's another breaking ball down and away out of the strike zone. When you say a guy can hit a breaking ball, it means that he can hit a breaking ball that is a strike. If you chase the breaking ball, it's going to be awfully tough to hit it.
There are very few players that hit that good breaking ball too, Joe.
6 strikeouts now for Gardner. Hasse with the home run, a single, and an RBI back in the 5th. And they're going to put him on.
They've got a base open. They're protecting. They're trying to keep it. What do you think he's got in mind?
Well, I think that's called a sweep.
They've got a base open here, Joe, and going to go with the percentages. They want to stay within 1 run.
Well, when you put Hasse on base, you're going to face another left-handed hitter in Stan Javier. And Javier hit the ball hard.
Javier was intentionally walked the last time himself.
Well, it just shows how this game changes. You know, there's ebbs and flows in this ball game, and there has been since the 1st inning.
So now what we have, 2 down, runners at 1st and 2nd in the bottom of the 7th, as Gardner now will face Stan Javier, who is 0 for 2 in this ball game. Joe Morgan does not want to go down 3 games to none. Tomorrow, Dave Stewart will be going for the A's, and Bruce Hurst.
I'm glad that Joe Morgan's in this position and not me.
Ball strike. You guys remember Julian Javier, Stan's dad. What a second baseman he was for the Cardinals.
They called him the Ghost because he came across the bag and could turn the double play with the best of them, and you couldn't touch him.
Stan said he would see his dad in the World Series.
He could help that right here. And that will help. It's up the middle. Parker makes a turn. He's being waved in. A base hit RBI, and the A's regain that 2-run lead.
That is a big run right there. A big run. That takes a lot of pressure off of that Oakland pitching staff.
There's Dave Parker. He's about 6'5", 240. He used to be able to fly, even though he was a large guy. Still runs pretty well. He lets it all go. Big turn at third base there, though. He looked like he was going over to touch the guy's hands in the dugout.
That's a lot of body to get around third base, right?
We might point out here that everyone that La Russa has put in left field has done the job for the A's. He decided to go with Javier today, even though Tony Phillips has had a couple of good ball games, and Javier comes through. As Reggie said, that is a big run. That counts more than 1 run on the scoreboard.
Exactly.
So Javier delivers. Parker has scored. It's now 8-6 Oakland.
Now the Red Sox need 9 runs. They need 3 more runs in just 2 innings.
Gallego with a base hit, scored a run back in the second. 1 ball, no strikes on Gallego. Runners still at first and second base.
And again, there's 2 outs. They scored again with 2 outs.
All but 1 run tonight after 2 are out. Stanley waiting if needed. One-0 to Gallego, and the count evens at 1-1. 1-1 to Gallego, and he fouls it back again, 1-2.
To get the big hits with 2 outs.
And so Gallego goes down swinging. So he ends up striking out the side. But the A's get the run back. After 7, they lead it by 2, 8-6. Right now, it's going to be Rick Honeycutt continuing as we go to the top of the 8th inning. 8-6 in favor of the A's, as leading things off is Reed, followed by Benzinger, and then the top of the order in Ellis Burks. 1 ball, no strikes. 12 hits in the ball game for the Red Sox, 13 for the A's. That pitch misses, and it's now 2-0. There's Larry Parrish now getting ready. He's made 2 pinch hitting appearances in this series. Joe Morgan needs something to happen. Desperation's got to be setting in a little bit now in that Boston dugout. And Eckersley now has up and started throwing. There he is.
See Larry Parrish in the on-deck circle.
Ball strike, and it's 2-1. Inside, but 3-1 now on Reed. 3-1, and Reed taking all the way, and it's full at 3-2.
And Eckersley just gave him the sign in the dugout that he's ready.
3-2, and inside, and going down to first, the leadoff man Reed. So let's see if there's going to be some movement now. La Russa still has not come out of the dugout.
I think you'll see him in a minute.
Benzinger due next. But if he's going to make a move, he's certainly disguising it right now.
Well, he has to wait until they announce Larry Parrish before he makes the move.
So Parrish would be pinch hitting for Benzinger.
Well, they're going to make it as tough as they possibly can. I'm sure that Tony is going to surface from that dugout.
He's looking down where Eckersley is, and Eckersley, as you mentioned, Joe, already gave the sign he's ready. And here he comes.
Ah, surprise, surprise.
So the guy who's just been nothing short of sensational, Eckersley, with 45 saves in the regular season. If in fact they do bring him in, and we're assuming that. Here he comes.
I don't think Tony even had a second thought. He knew it when the inning started, what was going to happen. He was aware who the pinch hitter was going to be, what Larry Parrish could do if he got a ball he could hit off the left-hander Honeycutt. He says, hey, you're my pitcher unless you get a man on. Then it's going to have to be Eck. I'm going to lose with my best, get those percentages back in my favor.
Well, and if you're the manager and you have Dennis Eckersley down there, I think you would do the same thing.
So Larry Parrish, who's 0 for 2 in this series in a pinch hitting role. Well, come on. This guy's had some real success against the A's in the years past. When he was a Texas Ranger. Oh, did he go after that one?
Well, he opened up very quickly and watch his front leg. His front leg just pull right out.
Parrish in that third position as fouled back. Parrish, and he's in a hole 0-2.
It's a situation you do not want to be in. No balls and 2 strikes. Major League Baseball's save leader.
This is a tough role for Parrish. He's been a starter all these years. Played some first base when he came over to Boston. 0-2, and they almost got the double off at the first base side. A snap throw by Hasse, and Parrish is erased in a hurry.
Almost looks like he had his mind made up to swing here. This pitch is eye high. You can't touch this ball.
There you see Hasse trying to throw down the first base to get Jody Reed, but not in time. Being honest with you, Reg, I think we have to make an observation here, and that is that I think Tony La Russa really took advantage of Joe Morgan there, because Todd Benzinger is a switch hitter. He would have had the right-handed hitting Benzinger going against the left-handed pitching Honeycutt if he would have left him in the ball game, and Eckersley would not have come in. Or if he would have come in, at least Benzinger would have been on the left side batting against Eckersley. So I think Tony La Russa got the best of Joe Morgan in that situation.
Benzinger had been 0 for 3 prior to that time, but the strikeout by Parrish now leaves us in a situation with Reed at first, 1 down, and Burks up. 2-2 to Burks. Up the middle, cut off by Weiss, and he got him at second, but they didn't get him at first. But what a play by Walt Weiss. Somehow he got the ball to Gallego, who made the pivot, and they got the lead runner.
When the ball was first hit, I thought it was going to go through, but you see Walt Weiss behind the bag, throws it, falls down as he throws it, and gets the runner at second base. We'll take a look here at second base. Look at that great play. Nice play by Gallego also.
He had to barehand that ball.
How much different is this slide than the one that they called the guy a double play on and did not allow the run? Again, another body block.
Weiss has made all the plays. The rookie shortstop, 2 down now. At the plate is Barrett. Barrett in the ball game has 1 base hit and also a sacrifice. Back in the second, he scored a run. Gallego, Hubbard played well at second, and Weiss was the final piece to all of that, coming in his rookie year. Popped up. Hasse coming back. They have no play. 1-2 now to Barrett. Center field, Henderson has it positioned well. Now backs up, and Eckersley moves within 3 outs of taking a 3-0 lead in this American League Championship Series. Well, is it mission impossible, as Marty Barrett, after that fly ball to center field, shows the frustration that the Red Sox are going through as they are 3 outs away from going down 3-0. Barrett at second. Weiss, who made that splendid defensive play, now will lead things off, followed by Lansford and Henderson.
I'm not going to count them out because I've seen them down to their last strike and then went on to play another 7 or 8, 9 ball games.
That was against you in '86, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Weiss, line shot foul.
I've always said if you've got the opposition with their nose in the dirt, then take your foot and keep it right on his neck.
Hey, speaking of Mr. October,
that's a real star right there, Joe.
Is that your autograph on there?
I won't argue with you.
Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Leadoff man here in the top, should say the bottom of the 8th inning. Weiss in this game doubled, you might recall, to drive in a run. Back in the second, fly to left, grounded out to second. Now here's something we wanted to build to show you that Jody Reed, a lot of people in Boston feel that he is a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year, and some comparison graphics between the two. Reed, of course, becoming the starting shortstop when Joe Morgan took over as the skipper. See the difference in games, the batting average. Reed has the better of it there. Call third strike, dropped by Gedman, so he'll have to make the play at first. There's 1 out. Hey, Reggie, who was Rookie of the Year when you were in your first year?
Stan Bonson with the New York Yankees. I had 115 at bats, and at that time you were only allowed 90. I'd had 115 the year before.
Lansford up with 1 down. Lansford with 2 base hits and the 2-run home run. Seemed like a long time ago, didn't it? Back in the second inning. 2-2. Lansford, base hit. Carney has really looked impressive tonight. That's his third hit of the ball game.
Another breaking ball, Joe, and as you said earlier, he handles the breaking ball well. Bingo, breaking pitch, and we get to see Joe Morgan again.
The other Joe Morgan. Like I said, I would not like to be in his position tonight.
You don't want his mail? Is that what you're saying after this game tonight? Well, we have a pitching change as Gardner will leave. One out. Bob Stanley will be coming in. Well, we're talking about Sandy Alderson of the A's. Here is the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Operating Officer, Haywood Sullivan, former catcher in the big leagues. And, of course, his decision to bring in Joe Morgan after that all-star game has really been a good decision by Haywood and the Boston Red Sox. Bob Stanley now in relief of Gardner with 4 2/3 innings. Gardner gave up 2 runs, 6 hits, walked 2, struck out 8.
Well, Dave Henderson told me before the ball game he was going to be going for the big fly, meaning the home run, and he has struck out 3 times in tonight's ball game.
Bluff move and deep to left field, going back Greenwell, back, and it's out of here. 2-run home run.
So you
Pitcher of the A's dugout there happy, and the pitcher of the Boston dugout tells the whole story.
Canseco now coming up as we have a 10-6 ball game.
And Henderson says to me they remember the big flies, and I think we will remember this one. We don't remember the chopper he hit in the first inning for a single.
And that ball well hit. Burks goes back though, and he's there. Let's go back. Henderson's 2-run blast.
He said he was going to try to hit a big fly, and he takes a fastball and hits a big fly. Great swing, stays on the ball, gets those arms extended, which gives you distance. And Greenwell runs out of room.
So we've had a 2-run home run by Lansford. McGuire with a home run. Hasse hit a 2-run home run, and now Henderson with a 2-run home run in the 8th.
And there you see the Boston dugout.
And with Eckersley on the mound.
There you see the Oakland A's have tied an American League Championship Series record with their 4 home runs tonight.
Parker would like to break that record. Got the outside corner.
1973 by Oakland as well.
Reggie Jackson, of course, was on that ball club.
I don't think I hit.
Where were you in 1973, Morgan? First base side, Larry Parrish will run unassisted. And the inning's over. But the A's come back for 2 more. A 2-run shot by the man known as Hindu. 3 outs away from a 3-0 lead. Bluff move and deep to left field, going back Greenwell, back, and it's out of here. 2-run home run. (10-6). Dave Henderson adding 2 runs to that advantage, and you might remember Dave Henderson in 1986 in the American League Championship Series. It was the Red Sox against the Angels, and in the 9th inning, Dave Henderson. And we're going to go back on this flashback, hitting a gigantic, very big 2-run home run, and Reggie must have hurt.
It certainly did. I've seen this ball club down about as far as you can get. They were down to 1 strike. 3 games to 1.
Big moment there and a big moment tonight for Dave Henderson. So Eckersley now will face Boggs. Greenwell and Rice scheduled up. Now staked to a 4-run lead. And you can hear in the background sweep starting to come out of this crowd of better than 48,000.
Reggie, you mentioned you saw them down to their last strike. Their last hope was Dave Henderson, but he's on the other side tonight.
He seems to have been on the right spot in the right place in the right spot the last few years.
A lot of people have counted him out a couple of times, and he just keeps coming back. Boggs fouls that one away, and the count goes to 2-1.
He was released by the San Francisco Giants at the end of 1987, and he caught on here with the Oakland A's. And I said a couple of days ago, I thought he was maybe the most important acquisition they made all season.
2-2 now on Boggs. And I think it's so interesting because he'd struggled so much. You mentioned the 3 strikeouts. He came back and hit the 2-run home run. But you also had said before he hit the home run that his swing, he was more compact. He was starting to get within himself.
Well, Reggie's seen that before. He struck out a couple of times and then hit the big fly,
yeah,
right?
But they pay off on the big fly, partner.
Left field, Javier going back. Javier makes a running catch.
He tracked that ball very well and kept his eyes on it, and that's the reason he made that play. Got a good jump on the ball. That's one of the reasons Tony La Russa said he'd play him tonight, is that he was outstanding defensively. Look at him, keeps his eye on the ball all the way, stays with the ball, and makes a fine running grab.
That ball was well hit by Boggs. 1 down, and Greenwell, who has 2 hits and 3 RBIs in the ball game. Well, he said this is their best defensive outfielder, and he showed it there. Greenwell fouls it down the first base side. And some outstanding defense. And there's a fine defensive play. McGuire to Eckersley. They're doing it all.
Yes, they are, Gary. They have to win the close games. They get it done. They get base hits from the shortstop. They have to outscore you. Boom, they hit the home runs. They've got to play defense. 6'5", Mark McGuire, 220 pounds, dives and makes the play. Textbook baseball.
McGuire breaks to his right, and with his 6'5" frame, he's able to reach a little farther than other people. Comes up with it. Nice play.
So Jim Rice is the only person between the A's and a 3-0 lead.
They're facing Jim Rice last year. He threw up a 3-run homer on a slider. He will not see a breaking ball in this at bat.
Rice 0 for 4. And they're 1 strike away from the 3rd win. And it's over now. 3-0, the A's lead in this best-of-7 series. This is on tape. The final out, the final pitch by Eckersley. And they're 1 game away from heading to the World Series.